welcome to another video. In this video I'm actually going to be making iodine, so stick around. This is the intro for that video. Now these days you will probably know someone in your family who is on something called levothyroxine. If they're above 30 years of age, generally the doctor will have them on thyroxine. Your thyroid gland is at the base of your neck. Most people these days, right, are on thyroxine because their thyroxine production has come to a standstill because they lack iodine. Now this is that brown liquid that they rub on you. It's the same stuff they rub on you before they cut you open for an operation. It's the one that leaves the stain, and that's what I'm going to be making, iodine. This is part of a group of chemicals called halogens. Now what gets really interesting here is it's the halogens that cause you so many problems. Because of having, let me first explain, halogens are iodide, fluoride, chloride and bromide. When they come into contact, bromide becomes negatively charged. They all become a negative charge because they're giving an anion away. So bromide becomes bromine, bromine becomes bromide, chlorine becomes chloride, right? The same chloride is in your salt and in all processed food. Chloride's also in your water supply, right? And fluoride's in your water supply. Okay, so they're all fluorine becomes fluoride. You get the picture. Iodine becomes iodide, right? Iodide becomes iodine. God. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is because somebody put fluoride in your water and chlorine in your water with one for your teeth to stop you getting fillings apparently, which is another video because it doesn't work, and again chlorine to kill bacteria in mains water supplies, right? So the problem with these halogens is the smallest molecule is iodine, so they jump on the iodine receptor site on your cells. So 99% of the country, of the world, are low in iodine. Now, in the old days, if the doctor did a thyroid test on you, a blood test for your thyroid, and found, he would actually prescribe you iodine and you would rub it on your wrist. Now, when you rub this on your wrist, one of the tests, I should film it for you, when you rub it on your wrist, because it's a vascular area, right, and this is going to nano go inside through the skin, through the membrane, right, when you rub it on your wrist, I guarantee it will be gone within 4 to 5 to 6 hours. Now the test is 24 hours. If this vanishes on your wrist and you only put a few drops on, if this vanishes on your wrist in 24 hours, you're low, and I can already tell you, right, and on ours, right, you'll be low. Everybody's low because the halogens in the water supply and the halogens in table salt, right, are far greater and push out and displace the iodide, right? So iodine gets pushed out. it cannot lock onto the receptor sites because the receptor sites in your cells that control the metabolism are blocked for the things in your water supply. Now, this is actually distilled water. I need distilled water to make iodine. But with that said, tap water, chlorine becomes chloride, right? Fluorine becomes fluoride. Displace iodine. So you will definitely. Now, once you get this level up of iodine, you start detoxing yourself. Fluorine, chlorine and bromine is another one. And guys, it's a mouthful, isn't it? Bromine, right, is also in lots of drugs in the pharmacy. So you'll find bromine in anticonvulsants and a lot of anti-headache tablets and sedatives contain bromine, right? So these will displace iodine. Now, iodine controls your cell metabolism. That's why it's so important, right? You will boost your metabolism up, and it also will increase your heart rate because it has an effect on the heart, because it's a vasodilator on smooth muscle. It has an effect on cognition, so you can remember things. It has effect on contraction of muscles and the neuromuscular firing order, the nervous system and the muscles together. And most of all, it affects cell metabolism. Now, your doctor will give you levothyroxine. Now that is made in a lab, and that is nowhere near as good as your own thyroxine made by iodine in your thyroid gland, T3 and T4. So, I'm going to start making it. I'll probably talk a little bit more about it. Thank you very much. Iodine.
So to make this, guys, you're going to need a set of scales that's accurate. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. We're going to start with potassium salts, and we're going to be using 50 grams of potassium salt. Rather than get your salt all over your scales, it's easier to pop some kind of protection on there. Is our 500 ml, 16 ounces of distilled water, guys. This is not tap water, this is distilled water. In goes our potassium salts. This is going to give you a 12% Lugol's iodine or potassium iodine. Here's the iodine crystals. Very unusual. Banned in America. You cannot get them in America because you can make crystal meth from these, which I'm not going to go into because, you know, I don't want to make people's life a misery. No interest whatsoever. And we're going to take this up to 25 grams. 2-to-1 ratio gives you a very, very powerful iodine, guys. And this will give you 12%. Now, iodine, right, there is nothing it doesn't impact in your health. It impacts your bones, it impacts your cognitive ability, brain development, skin, metabolism, stomach, everywhere. It impacts you completely everywhere. Treat it like an hormone. you can see the crystals are already staining the cloth that they're on. Watch for the reaction when I'm about to tip them into this distilled water with the potassium salts. Watch the reaction, guys. Immediately you'll start seeing the reaction. See it there. Boom. Now I should start stirring this. Use a wooden spoon. Once we've got this far, you do not use any cutlery. It's all wood from this way in, because there's a charge in it. We're dealing with anything with a charge. You can't use spoons and silverware, okay? So I found as well, I've made that much of iodine. I found that if you use distilled water and it's just come out of the distiller and it's warmer, the salts will bind better. The crystals and the salts, the potassium salts, will go together a lot better, give you a much better product. Here's the test I was talking about. This is a very, very old-fashioned test. They used to do it in the old days. Everyone fails this test, by the way. If you ever buy any iodine, you'll fail this test. Within 24 hours, if that patch disappears, you're low. And believe me, you'll be low. I know that's an enormous patch, but you get the picture. A tiny little patch, and it'll be sucked in within a few hours.